Welcome to Homeschooling and Life Unfiltered with Court and Jess, where real talk meets real life. Court and Jess are two friends, fellow moms, and business partners who live in different time zones and juggle homeschooling alongside motherhood and entrepreneurship. Jess is a mom of 8 and Court is a mom of 7, and together they're raising 15 kids and navigating the wild, wonderful world of homeschooling, each in completely different ways. Every week, we invite you to pull up a chair for honest conversations, practical tips, and uplifting encouragement. You'll hear from moms across the country who are homeschooling in a way that works best for their families. Whether you're a veteran homeschool mom just getting started or somewhere in between, this is your space to feel seen, supported, and inspired. Because no matter how different our paths may look, we are all in this together. Welcome back to Homeschooling and Life Unfiltered. Today's episode is just a little bit different. We're sharing a conference session from our Venture Upwards virtual home education conference, recorded in August of 2025. It features me, Court, teaching on finding balance in homeschool life. So it's a little more of a class than a conversation, but we hope it encourages you. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to the Venture Upward virtual conference. We have a wonderful lineup of speakers this week, and while we think that you'll get the most out of this conference by attending live, we will have all of these sessions recorded and available on our website for a week after the event. And for those of you who are enrolled as Venture Upward families, you'll have these sessions available to you in Basecamp all year long. And probably even longer. Also, all of our raffle items will be given to the winner drawn from those who are present at this live session. So definitely stick around at the end to see if you are drawn as one of our two raffle winners. And because we do have a little bit of a large group, and we'll have more, I'm sure, that are coming in, please just make sure to mute yourself. But if you do have any questions, you can just throw those right into the chat box and we'll address those at the end. But today I have the pleasure of introducing Courtney Schossless. And so, or Schoss, I always pronounce it incorrectly. Courtney, give me a hand.
Schloss.
Thank you. My husband always teases me for mispronouncing it, and I do it every time. He was just teasing me before this very meeting about not mispronouncing it, and then I did, so he'll have a good laugh. So let me introduce Courtney a little bit more, though. I have the pleasure of working with Courtney. She is a dear friend and also a dear colleague. She is a dedicated educator, leader, and homeschooling mom of 18 years who has graduated 3 students and is still homeschooling her last 4 children. She has an associate's degree in early childhood education and a bachelor's degree in elementary education. She spent 5 years teaching at Head Start Preschool and 3 years in the elementary classroom before transitioning to virtual teaching. As a training manager, program director, and now vice president of our program development here at Venture Upward, Courtney excels in curriculum development and enhancing student-teacher relationships in online settings. A sought-after speaker at home education conferences, she continues to inspire educators with her insights on homeschooling, virtual teaching, and effective curriculum design. So thank you, Courtney, for being here. We appreciate you and are excited to hear from you.
Thank you. All right. So I'm actually going to just ixnay everything she just said. That I do want you to actually unmute yourself. This is going to be a little bit of a different workshop style. It's not just listen to Courtney talk for the next 45 minutes. This is a workshop. We are going to, we're going to trial some things. I'd love for you to have pens and paper. It's going to come in very handy. We're going to give time to kind of work through these techniques that I'm sharing. This is a very hands-on, and I'm going to ask you to unmute and share. And just in case you're worried, just a little FYI, if you have your camera off, you're not on screen and not part of the recording. The recording is going to be the graphic that I have sharing, and then if whoever's talking sometimes will show up on the camera, but you don't have to be concerned about that if that's your concern about not having your camera, because it's always more fun to be able to see each other and to have these great conversations. All right, so let's go into it. Excuse me, I'm getting over being sick, and I apologize if I cough. We are going to do finding balance in your homeschool. Jessica gave me a great introduction. Thanks for that. So here's just a little sneak peek at my little family. It's a very large family, actually. I have one married daughter, the one in the very end, standing next to her husband, and she's actually expecting a baby in October. So my very first grandbaby is coming. I've always homeschooled for like the entire duration. So my kids have never actually been in a regular brick and mortar school. So they don't really know any different. other than my kids do a tech high school for their last 2 years of junior and senior year. So they get a little bit of a taste of it. And most of the time they come back with a thank you. I'm so glad we homeschooled because, you know, it's just a different dynamic in that world. I love to learn. I love to read. And so really this class is kind of built out of that, just what I have been studying for the last, 20 odd years as a homeschool mom and a mom at that. Nothing I'm saying is really mine. It's just things that I've gleaned and gathered from different courses I've taken, different books I've read, and kind of compiled it into one nice, neat little bow to share with all of you. If I know where it comes from, I will definitely tell you. Half of the time, though, I don't really remember because it's something that I learned at a homeschool conference that I attended or some book I read, and I'm really bad at like the little details about stuff like that. But if I know, I promise I will tell you. This came from Sarah Mackenzie. If you're not familiar with her, she's from the Reader Louder Bible. If you take nothing else from what I talk about today and what we share, is balance equals wisdom. Wisdom is doing the right thing at the right time for you or for your kiddo or for your family. This is probably one of the most important pieces. I mean, let's be honest, there's really no such thing as a balance. Like we can't have an equal balance between school and home and life and marriage and and church and all those things that we want to do. You can't ever have an equal balance among all those things. But we kind of make ourselves crazy trying to do that. So if we remember that balance equals wisdom and that wisdom is doing that right thing at the right time, that's what's going to give us the balance that we are craving and then what we want. Okay, so here's where you want your paper and your pencil. You guys, I'm not joking, paper, pencil. You're going to want it because I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. And these are truly things that I do all the time. And I'm going to give you examples. But then we're going to have some workshop time. So I'm going to give you, 3 minutes to go brainstorm some ideas for yourself so that you can put it in action. And then we'll come back and people can share. Because sometimes you might come up with like, hey, these are the things that are not working, but you're stuck on the, what could I do to fix it? And that's where we're going to workshop together and brainstorm together and just kind of use the minds of the crowd. Okay, so this is something I do on a regular basis, typically once a quarter, and sometimes more often when I'm feeling like super stuck and frustrated, is I just take an inventory. What isn't working? You can't fix everything at once. Like you just can't. And I will tell you that the middle of the night at like midnight when you're had a really long day and you're like, math isn't working and my kid's not doing math and I'm going to buy a new math curriculum at midnight. That's not the best time to take an inventory. Take a step back, take a deep breath, get some sleep, and then do your inventory in the morning. I promise you will be thankful for that. So let's take this inventory. So what isn't working? So we're going to pick different areas of our life. We can do school, family, work, meal times, bedtimes. The gamut is anything. You can pick any area of your life that you're like, okay, what's not working? And I typically like to kind of do an inventory of each of those areas. These are the areas I do for myself. I do work, family, kids, school, marriage, and self. So those are the areas that I kind of take an inventory of. And so when I do that, so I'm trying to remember if I have samples. Nope. I'm just going to talk about my samples. All right. So I did an inventory last spring, like right after Christmas, when I came back and I did an inventory of this. And so I did fight family school. What isn't working? Family school wasn't happening. I was skipping subjects left and right. Just whatever, we'll do it later. Like that was my go-to phrase for family school. So that was a problem. And that was a concern for me. Within my marriage, we didn't have any uninterrupted time together. We were really struggling with both working full time, having 7 kids, and just not ever having a time that we could like devote to each other. For myself, I wasn't doing anything for myself. I had no time for like filling up that bucket for myself. We all know how we feel when our buckets are depleted. We get a little bit of grumpy and then everything seems to not be working, right? And then I did a check-in like on work. I had too many emails. They were just kind of overwhelming me. So those were my just knee-jerk, fast, what's not working. So once you have that list of what's not working, you take the steps of what can I do? So you just brainstorm. And this technique is really like a brain dump. We're going to brain dump what isn't working, and we're going to brain dump just how can I fix it? Like what are some areas and things that I could do to fix it? So for my family school, I brain dumped, let's see, like organize books, have them handy, make a loop schedule. And that was really all I could come up with for that one. So I was like, okay, so those are some ideas. So then it makes you start thinking about it, and then you're going to go through each of those areas. So for my marriage, I had no phone date nights. Go somewhere with no phones. Like those were the only way that I could think of, like how to have uninterrupted time with my husband. For myself, pick something I love, find 15 minutes. Or well, that was all I can. And again, you guys, sometimes you're going to come up with like a dozen things that might be able to fix this problem, but then you also might come up with like, I can't think of anything else. Like, I just want time to do something for myself. My emails, answer them. That's kind of a given, right? But it seemed too overwhelming because there was too many. Unread things that can come back later. So if I can't do it right away, it's like just kind of brainstorming those things. But the key to this one is the last step is to make the action plan. So I've got my list of issues and things that are not working. I've got a list of ways that might be able to fix it. This last step is the most important. It's the action items. So you're going to go through that list of how I could fix it and pinpoint exactly what you're going to do. Okay, so for my family, school subjects were being missed. I brainstormed that I could make a loop schedule. I could organize books, have them handy. So my action plan is I got a basket. I put it on my fireplace, and every single school subject for family school was in that basket. So I had everything right there at my fingertips. I didn't have the excuse that the book was downstairs, and so I didn't want to go downstairs to get it. And I didn't have that resource, or I didn't have the picture for the picture study. It was all in the basket. So there you go. Poof, that problem is solved. Family school is happening every day at the right time because I had all my supplies. So that's my action item, but you also have to go do it. So I can make my action item and put it on paper, but you actually have to go get the basket and put it all there. So just following those steps is like, it's like the magic sauce, you guys. So for my marriage, you know what we actually did? We decided to take a cruise. We went on a cruise where we did not intentionally have phones so we could have uninterrupted time together. And that was how we solved it for our anniversary trip. That was the way we could do it. For myself, I picked one thing. And mine was read. I wanted to make sure I had time to read and to put 15 minutes. So I carved out 15 minutes out of my schedule to read. So I would read while I ate lunch. Like, could I answer emails and could I work? Or could I be sitting with a kid doing something for school? Or could I? Yes, there's always a million things that you could do. But if finding the thing that's important for you and doing it and finding the time, just go do it. Like, that's what I did. So I had my 15 minutes at lunch that I would read. And then it also spawned to like, hey, I really like this. I'm going to do this again. And I had 15 minutes at the end of the day or 15 minutes while I was waiting for dance, like finding those little pockets of not always having to be productive. That's probably like my biggest issue personally, is because I always want to be productive and be doing things. But reading is filling my bucket, and that is productive in a different way. And giving yourself permission for that is huge. For my emails, I decided that I would get up first thing in the morning and spend 20 minutes going through emails. And that way my whole day was not spent like stressing about all that were there. And if I could do it in 5 minutes, I would do it. And if I couldn't, I would unread it so that it still showed unread so that I would know I had to come back to it later. And that really solved that problem for me. So just kind of making the list, making the action plans, but then actually following through and doing them is kind of the key to this one. Okay, so I want to give us, obviously normally I teach this in a room full of people, but I want to give us 3 minutes. I want everybody to come up with a few things that aren't working for you as you're going into this new school year, or thinking about summer, or you're thinking about the fall, and now that we know all these sports are coming back in, or your schedules. Problem solve out or make a list of some things that aren't working. And then I'd love to, if somebody's willing to share, or you can actually put them in the chat too, you guys. But you totally can unmute and tell us what are some things that aren't working for you, and what are some ideas that you could fix it, or what are ideas that you need? Like, what's a problem not working and how can we help you? And I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes. I normally play music when I do this. I should pull it up. I just remembered that. You hear that? Decibel.
I heard it there for a minute, but now it's off again.
Trying to remember how to do it so you can hear it. All right. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of time. I would love to either have you put it in the chat or go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us what are some areas that are not working for you that we can help you brainstorm, or that made you think that you brainstormed on your own. It's not working, grocery shopping and meal planning. Jessica, I have a thing for you. We're going to get to that. That's part of my thing. That's my hill, you guys, that I die on, is my meal planning and dinner time. So I'm going to help you with that one. And then if you still have questions, we'll brainstorm at the end. Does anybody else have one?
Yes. Keeping the house clean while the kids are like putting their effort into school. That takes a lot of time, especially for my high schoolers. If they're studying, that just takes a long time. And I feel bad for taking them away from their schoolwork to clean my house, you know, but then we're in the meantime, we're living in filth. And then the other one I had was keeping all the kids accountable, you know, to show me that they did their school list, you know, by the end of the week. Or there's one in particular child, I won't name her name, but she always accidentally doesn't show me her checklist. When I'm trying to keep her accountable, but she doesn't show me her checklist for whatever reason. And then it's like 2 weeks down the line, I'm like, have you done your math? And so just like that. I need
I love
someone else. Yes.
Okay, I have ideas. Would you like some ideas? Okay, something I do is, okay, I don't know what kind of phone you have, Beth, but on an Apple phone, you can set reminders. And so I use the reminders all the time. And so the reminder would be at the end of the day, you know, at 7:00, hey, check the checklist. And it will show every single night for you. And it's just that visual to be like, remind to ask her for her to bring it to you. So it's helping, like using those reminders helps take the brain power and not brain power, but you know, just the memory that you have to remember all the things. It helps not have to do that. And it's just that little, oh, hey, show me your checklist today. I want to see it. And just puts that like a nice spin on it so that you're helping her stay accountable. The other thing about the keeping your house clean is setting those little pickup habits, like the pickup, like a tidy house habit, and tying it around mealtime. So around breakfast time, we're going to spend 15 minutes tidying up the house. And around lunchtime, we're going to spend 15 minutes tidying up the house, because they're going to eat, right? They're going to have those breaks, those natural breaks. It's a natural break time. And it's amazing what you can do in 15 minutes. And just setting the timer, turning on fun music. I still do this even though my kids are big. Just to have those and tying it to a meal makes it everybody just know, like, hey, they know that when we're done with lunch, I'm going to spend 15 minutes tidying up, and you can divvy up rooms or everybody work in one area. I tend to like divide and conquer, and everybody kind of spreads out. But it makes the house stay completely, you know, I mean, not gorgeous, but manageable and not chaos and craziness for mom. Sorry. Those are all really great things. And if anybody else has ideas too, put them in the chat. There's also a bunch of other ideas in the chat. Excuse me. Danielle said, making myself go to bed at a reasonable hour. Danielle, that's also a reminder thing for me. My phone goes to sleep at 9 o'clock. It's this reminder that, hey, it's 30 minutes of wind down time. My phone tells me every day, and you can set it up on your phone. It just helps keep accountability, because I totally go to bed at like 9:30. This was one of my hills that I die on too, is sleep. Kids wandering off when things require my attention. Oh, Jennifer, can I just say that is like every mom's worst nightmare. Like, it's such a hard thing, is that when you want to empty the dishwasher, you want to switch the laundry, or if somebody calls. I will say what I did when my kids were little. I set like a do not disturb from 9 to noon, and that was school time. And during that time, I didn't take phone calls. I didn't take text messages. I didn't switch laundry, and I was focused on them. And it can be a shorter amount of time depending upon how old your kids are. But setting that time so that they know that you're there for them and that's their time, and that you respect their time just like you want them to respect your time. It kind of sets up a nice boundary for them. Josephine says, heading into first grade with only one child, I'm not sure what won't work yet. I'm wondering if there are any tips people have to implement to avoid roadblocks ahead. Basically, kindergarten felt like focused on play. First grade feels a little more serious. I think that you're going to find some things as we talk that are going to help you with that in the next little section. Okay, Amy says, here are some I thought of: getting our kids to bed on time. They're 11 to 18 years old. Our 14-year-old girl needs help making friends who are her age, getting a good workout in every day, and me using my phone too much. Can I just say, when I gave this workshop in Arizona earlier this summer, that was one of the questions that came up. Is they're like, in my routine, as you see, like we'll see a lot of these things. They're like, well, when do you work out? And I'm like, oh, well, I don't. So I'm not the person to ask about having to put workout in your schedule, because I'm the worst at that. I will 100% own it. But that is a struggle with lots of people. So if anybody has ideas on how you make sure that happens, will you guys make sure you share in the chat or unmute yourself? Lots of people want to know how to go to bed on time. Guys, you just go to bed. It's that simple. I promise. I am a firm believer that as soon as the kids go to bed, I do nothing at my house. I do not empty a dishwasher. I do not load a dishwasher. I do not do a load of laundry. That is my time for me. So now it's 9 o'clock. It's really sad because my kids are big. So they go to bed at 9 o'clock. And so I know from 9 to 9:30 or 9:30 or 9 to 10, that's my time. And I'm going to read a book, or I'm going to hang out with my husband, or watch a show, or play a game or something. But I am totally shut off from like all the house things. I promise you should try it. I know it sounds insane, and everybody who knows that that's what I do thinks it's crazy, but you should try it. I promise it really does work. And it gives you that time to unwind and get to bed on time. Okay, you guys, this is fantastic. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work with the workshop style on here, but it's working just great. So I love it. Let's go on to the next thing. Unless anybody else has any more questions about that, taking the inventory, making your list, and making your action plan, and actually following through with your action plan. Okay, next we're going to talk about habits, because habits is going to tie in really good to like our next tool that I like to use. So habit is an activity done often, second nature. It's a way of life. I want to stress that habits don't necessarily have to be something you do every single day. When you're looking at habits, you can take a step back and look at, hey, during a week, how often do I do that? Do I do that, most days? That's considered a habit. When you take a step back and look at it in a month, did I do it most days? Did I do it most weeks? That can be considered a habit. So just looking at those things, and not just, if you look at one day, oh, I didn't do that. I failed. I didn't go to bed early today. I failed. Or I didn't, I was going to say brush my teeth, but we all brush our teeth every day. Maybe your kid didn't brush. You didn't remember to have your kid brush their teeth today. But when you take a step back and you look at the week, did we do it most days? Did I go to bed on time most days this week, like more than 3 days? You can count that as a success. So I just want you to, when you're thinking about habits, not just pinpoint on every single day, take a step back and look at that broader spectrum, because you'll be a lot more successful in it. All right. So this is my favorite thing that I do. I do this all the time. Really, you only do it once, like to really do it, but then you kind of go in and it helps you take an inventory of all the different things that you're putting in your life and makes them put put focus to it. So the rule of 6 is, what do you need or want to get done to feel successful in your day, your week, your month? So remember, we're looking at those habits that might be a day, but you're also looking at what's in a week and what's in a month. And again, these are the categories that I have a rule of 6 for. I have a rule of 6 for my family. I have a rule of 6 for work. I have a rule of 6 for school. I have a rule of 6 for my home. I have a rule of 6 for myself. And I have a rule of 6 for my marriage. Okay. What does this mean? Let me go to the next one. I'm going to show you some examples. So here's a rule of 6 for myself. And these are habits that I want to have in order for myself, for like my bucket to be full and for me to be successful. I want to read every day. So this is an everyday thing for me. Yes, there are some days that I don't read if I look back at a week, but for the most part, I try to read every single day. I get at least 8 hours of sleep every single day. That I already talked about. Like, that's my hill. That's one of my hills that I die on. I have a weekly date night with my husband. I like to create something, including cook. I love to create. Like, I love to knit and crochet and scrapbook and do things like that. I love to create. But that includes cooking. I like to cook. And so one of the things that I do is I cook dinner every single day. And that is a most days thing. I don't cook on date night. And there's always one day a week that all heck breaks loose and we order pizza. So, but do I cook when I say I cook every day? I cook most days, but I'm okay with that. Like, that's, those are intentional things. We do family school every single day, and I really like habits and learning. So I'm always learning something or working on some kind of habit. I'm always trying to improve myself. So those are the things that are mine that I want to do. Let's talk about school. So this is, when you're talking about your rule of 6 for your school, this is when you sit down at the dinner table at the end of the night. If you can look back and you did these things on your list, or some of these things on your list, or you're looking at your inventory of your month and you can look at, oh, I did do these things. It helps you feel successful. It helps you feel accomplished with what you're doing. And it gives you that sense of balance that you're like, oh, I can do this. Like, I'm doing the things that I want to do. Oh, family school. That's a great question. Family school could be called morning basket or symposium, or however you want to do when we're teaching all of our kids together the same thing. So in my family school, we do World Watch News. We do our scripture study. We do social studies together. So we're reading, whatever social studies book or whatever novel that fits social studies. We're also doing normally a family read aloud. And that's when we do kind of like logic puzzles or maybe some Mad Libs or different things. Our art history study, it's something a little different. We kind of follow like a loop schedule, but that's when I'm teaching all of my kids, regardless of their age and grade, together. So we do it for an hour every single day. Okay, so my rule of 6 for school is we have family school every single day. Do I really do it every single day? Absolutely not. Do I do it 4 out of 5 days? That's the goal. That would be the goal, at least to do it 4 out of 5 days. Every single day we do some kind of math. Every day we read. We field trips. Do I go field trips every day? Absolutely not. Do I do field trips once a month? Maybe. Do I do field trips once a quarter? More likely. So again, like, you can take a step back and you can look, but I want to make sure we're doing field trips, that we're doing our scriptures together, and we have creative time. And creative time means, I might have a kid that is really into skateboarding right now. And so has time during his day to go learn tricks. Or I have a daughter that's really into gymnastics, so she has time to go improve that skill. Or I have a daughter that likes piano, or a daughter that likes to cook. We're giving them that intentional time built into our schedule that they can do those things. So if I sit down at the end of the day at dinner table and I am exhausted and we had a crappy day and I'm like, oh, we didn't do anything today. Today was awful and nothing got done. But my husband's like, well, okay, but really, what did you actually do? Did you do family school? Yeah, I totally did, because family school is the first thing we do in the morning. So before the day derails, family school got done. Check. I can feel accomplished. Even if I did nothing besides family school, that still is something on my list of things. Did they read today? Did you read to them? Did you have any kind of reading time? Oh yeah, we did totally do that, because when we went to we had to drive to dance, we listened to an audiobook in the car. That's reading, and that counts. So it helps you think of those things and helps you feel successful. This is the stuff that you want to make sure that you do, that you at the end of the day or end of the week or end of the month can look back and be like, oh, I did do stuff this month. It's not that hard. I also have one for like my family. Excuse me. That is just annoying. I'm so sorry. My rule of 6 for my family is we have a read aloud. We always have a read aloud going, whether it's in the car while we're driving, well, it's sitting around the family room, sitting around the kitchen table. We're always doing some kind of read aloud. We have family dinner every single night. That is my hill that I die on. And I, like, everybody knows at 6 o'clock, dinner is on the table. To pursue interests. So we make time in our schedule to take lessons and do choir and do gymnastics and do skateboarding and do all of those things. We attend church together. We play games. We play games a lot. Like, that's probably one of the things that we do the most in this family is we know that every Sunday after church and brunch, we are going to play games together. And every evening, if we are done with everything that we're done with, we're going to play a game together. Or in family school, we play games together. And that we also value school and learning. So we're going to make sure we have time for that. So these are things that we do in my family to help us know that when things come up. So this is one of the things that I love about the rule of 6. So there's constantly things coming at us, right? Like, oh, hey, do your kids want to come do this? And your kids want to come do this? And your kids want to come do this? Often as home educators, we often are like, oh, well, we have all this time. Like, we have all day long. We can do stuff whenever. It's really easy to cram our schedules with going to, the dentist appointment at 9 a.m. and we'll just do school later. But then we have dance at 1 and we have, karate at 2 and football at 3. All different kids, all different places. And you know what I mean? Like, we're running around like crazy people all the time. So this helps us put our focus. So when all of those things are coming at us, all these different ideas, we can look at our rule of 6 and be like, hey, does this fit and does it align with our rule of 6? So like for me, because we're pursuing interests, we are going to make sure each kid has a time to do that in their schedule. But does that mean that we're going to say no to some other things because it doesn't align and it doesn't fit in our thing? If we have, 6 book clubs that we were invited to, does that align? Yeah, it kind of aligns because it aligns with our read aloud. But if we do 6 book clubs, then what else is going to have to leave? That means we're going to miss family dinner a lot because they're at dinner time. So you kind of have to pick and choose. But this rule of 6 really kind of helps you outline and put in what you want into it. It's kind of like a mission statement, but a little bit easier mission statement. Working smarter, not harder. Yes, Sarah. Okay, so I want to give us some time. I want you to pick one of the areas. I'm going to go back to the areas. I want you to pick one of these areas and create a rule of 6 for your family. And I will say, when you first start, you probably have more than 6 things. When you're brainstorming, you're going to come up with a bunch of things, but you might be able to combine some of them into a category within your rule of 6. But let's go ahead and brainstorm those. And I'm going to turn a little bit of music on while we do it. And then we'll share. We'll do 2 more minutes. And as you start to finish, you can put them in the chat if you'd like. Okay. Does anybody want to share a rule of 6 that they just created? Or do you need help brainstorming? Feel free to unmute yourself and share, or you can put it in the chat. No takers? All right. If you want to put it in the chat in a little bit also, if you're still working on it. Let's go ahead and keep going though, so we can have time at the end for Q&As. Oh, there we go. Jessica's got one. Scripture study, math. Is this for your like your school, Jessica?
First one is for myself, and then the second one is just math time for the kids every day.
Awesome. So coming up with those 6 things in those areas, I promise you guys, it will be life-changing once you get it. It takes a little while to brainstorm it, but having it, and I like to keep it up so that you can see it, so that as you're coming up with things to do, it makes sure it aligns with that. So now, this is probably the biggest question I get, is that once you have that rule of 6, again, you have to take it and make those action steps. Like, how are you actually going to do it? So one of my action steps, remember, was family dinner. Excuse me. So this is how I make family dinner feasible. Hold on, I'm going to take out my cough drop. All right, I put a cough drop in, but it's too hard to talk with it in my mouth. I apologize. Okay, so this is how do I actually get family dinner? How do we have family dinner when I work full time and we homeschool and we have 7 kids and our life is crazy? Okay, so this is how we do it. So this is just kind of an example of how you take those things on your rule of 6 and you action plan them out to make them actually feasible for your life. Okay, step 1, we plan every single meal out the week ahead of time. So over the weekend, on Saturday, we look at our schedule for the week so we know what days, who has what, where am I going, what days are we not getting home until 6:15, what days am I home at 4. We plan it all out. We plan our meals around our activities. So we know on a day that I'm not getting home till 6:15, that's a perfect day for a crock pot dinner. And we know that one kid's going to be there at this time, so they're going to be able to help out, and they might be able to start the rice for the crock pot dinner. But it's all laid out ahead of time. Who's doing what and when, and who's shuffling who where. It's all laid out for the whole week. We shop for everything ahead of time. This is like the key to having dinner on time, you guys, and having dinner with less stress. Because if you are Monday morning saying, okay, I'm going to make lasagna for dinner tonight, but I still have to go to the store and get the cottage cheese and the mozzarella and hamburger. Lasagna is not happening tonight. Let's just be realistic. So you have to have a plan, but you also have to have all the ingredients and have it ready. My favorite trick, everybody should have it, it's marvelous, is Walmart Plus. You guys, it's almost in everywhere area that I've ever seen. It's normally when you first sign up, it's $50 for the year, and you order your groceries and they deliver them to your door. It's fantastic. I don't do a lot of produce because everybody always asks about produce, because I get my produce from Costco for the most part because my family's big. So we do one Costco run a week, and that's where we get most of that stuff. But as far as like the normal everyday things, it's fantastic. And it just delivers it to your door for free. It's just like this little magic thing. After the first year, it's $100 a year, but it still pays for itself in the fact that I'm not spending time walking around a grocery store, and you do not get any of those other random like, oh, we should try this, or mom, can we get this, and adding all those things that were not on your list to your cart. It saves so much money. It's been the easiest way to have a grocery budget and stick to it, because I know exactly what's going in there, and it's only the stuff that we actually need. So I highly recommend you look into it. Okay, so now we know what we're doing for the week. We have our plan of like who's where and when, and we make our meal plan. We write it down so it's front and center. So I have a calendar that hangs in my kitchen that we write what we're having for dinner each night. Because if you have it in your brain and no one else knows, there's no accountability for it. And I've just found that if it's not front and center in the kids, besides the fact that kids ask every day, what's for dinner, Mom? What's for dinner, Mom? What's for dinner, Mom? What's for dinner, Mom? And it eliminates that because they just know on the wall there's a calendar and that's where the dinners are. Look at it the night before. So so when I go to bed, I walk past it in order to come in and out of my kitchen. I walk past this calendar. So I look at it and be like, okay, so tomorrow we're having lasagna. Oh, I need to pull the ground beef out of the fridge. Or I know that I'm going to make sure that I carve out like a half an hour in the middle of the day to put the lasagna together because I'm not going to be home in the evening, but somebody else can put it in the oven. So just kind of like mentally like working yourself through that, but pulling out anything in the morning, looking at it again to know like, oh, hey, I can brown the hamburger while I'm eating breakfast so that that part's done. So it saves the time later in the day. Does that make sense? So you're just always kind of like thinking about it ahead of time. You're looking at it the night before, you're looking at it the morning. Keeping the other trick to this is that sometimes, you know, even the best laid plans, lasagna is not going to get made on a Monday sometimes. And so having those backup meals, so you have a couple handy dandy little easy, like, you know, spaghetti and meatballs, like that's an easy one to always have out, or spaghetti with no meat sauce, or Alfredo that you can just pull out at a last minute so that you're not ordering pizza or driving through a drive-through on days that your plan doesn't necessarily work. Spend a few minutes prepping in the morning or setting a time right after lunch. Again, like tying it to things that you're already doing when you're already in the kitchen. You're not making a special trip. But if I know that I want to make lasagna, I can have lunch and I can spend, 15 minutes pulling it out and putting it together. Lasagna always seems like this really big thing, but really it only takes about 15 minutes to actually throw it all in a pot, especially if you don't have to cook the noodles and you're using the noodles that you cook on their own. And so having that, just knowing ahead of time, like what it is and like setting it aside sometimes so that it's not, guys, at 5 o'clock, I'm tired. I'm sure you're tired too. And you don't want to be standing and doing all those things. So helping yourself out and getting it done a little bit early is fantastic. All right, let's see. Amy says it's really helpful to have a backup meal that my kids can easily make if I'm running errands and they take longer than expected. Yes, exactly. Having a backup meal like Hawaiian haystacks is probably one of our easy backup meals because it's something that I always have pantry stuff for that the kids can throw together at any time. And it avoids the driving through the drive-through or ordering pizza on a Tuesday. Utilizing your kids and helping the last minute things. So when I get home at 6:15, it's all hands on deck. Everybody comes to the kitchen. One person is going to set the table. One person is going to prep the salad. One person's going to, pull the salad dressings out. One person's going to, get drinks. It doesn't all have to be on you. And I don't care how old your kids are. They can be 5 and they can help set a table, or a 3-year-old can put napkins around the table with forks. So having everybody pitch in together, and that way they're already in the kitchen. So you're not having to scramble to get everybody back to the kitchen. And it makes it more fun and enjoyable to get everybody working together. So those are probably my biggest tips and tricks, is just having a plan and making sure your plan is realistic to what's going on that day in your life. I have so many times made original plans and then realized that, oh wait, I'm not even home that day for dinner. Like I can't make chicken cordon bleu on Tuesday when I don't get home till 6:15, not unless we're not going to eat till 8 o'clock. My family gets a little grumpy if I don't feed them till 8 o'clock. So having a plan and making it and sticking to it, you guys, I promise it really does work. Yes, Amy, I would love to see something that you made. Do you know how to screen share, Amy, on this?
It's actually not on my computer. One thing that I do that kind of is exactly what you were just talking about is, hold
on, I'm going to pin you and then you're big. There you go. Now you can see it.
Okay. So I have this weekly menu or planner kind of thing where every other box is just prep work that needs to be done for a meal. And I usually write that in red pen and then have each of the meals planned right here for each day. Sorry, I don't know why my camera's making it not very visible, but this is kind of exactly what you were saying, and it's really helpful for me. So
That's awesome. Do you do you change it each week?
if I'm really busy, I love to be creative like you, and I love to cook and try new recipes, but I actually kind of have to discipline myself. If I'm having a busy week, I say no new recipes, just make stuff that you know how long it takes and exactly what all the steps are. So,
Oh, 100%. I like to experiment on Sundays.
oh,
Sundays
cool.
is like, the day of rest, but like that's restful for me to like go spend time in the kitchen, like creating something new. The other thing I love to do on Sundays for this is to kind of prep ahead. So if I know that we're having fajitas, I can cut all the chicken and freeze it already all cut up, or I can brown the hamburger, or I can, chop all the onions that I need for the week. Spending a few minutes getting yourself set up so that at 5 o'clock rolls around, it makes dinner a little bit easier. It's much nicer on everybody. Jessica said, I have to ask again so it doesn't get missed because I know so many struggle with this. How do you handle the endless snacking, especially for teens? Oh, we don't. I do not have an open kitchen at all times. We have breakfast and it has to be done by 4. School starts at 8 a.m. Lunch is from 12 to 1. And then we have like an afternoon snack time, so like 3 o'clock-ish. Excuse me, before activities. And then dinner time's at 6. My kitchen is not always open. That's something that I have been, if they need a snack, they have there's cheese sticks in the fridge downstairs. Like we have an upstairs and a downstairs. So like my schoolroom's actually downstairs. We keep cheese sticks and yogurts, like Go-Gurt sometimes, and then fruit in that downstairs fridge. And that's the only thing available all the time. So I'm kind of mean. So that probably doesn't help your answer. But I got tired of having a messy kitchen always, and it drives me bonkers. And so it was just how we combated it. Let's see. The Finch app is a wonderful app that keeps me notified and helps me achieve daily and weekly goals. I lose my phone a lot, so I definitely sticky notes everywhere. I agree with that. I love sticky notes. They're my favorite things. You guys, this was fantastic, and I hope that you learned something that you can take away and is useful to you. The chat is still open if you have more things to say, but let's go ahead and do our drawing, and then we'll have a Q&A, so then everybody can brainstorm or ask questions.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for that wonderful talk, Courtney. We really appreciate it. And like Courtney said, we've got 10 minutes left for questions, but we're going to go ahead and do our raffles. So today for our raffles, we are raffling off 2 sketch kits. And so they are Sketchbox by Sketchbox Art. So we're so grateful for those boxes that we have to give away today. My own kids have done those boxes and enjoyed them. And we have 2 winners. And the first winner is Lori Olson. And the second winner is Josephine Stafford. So if you two, congratulations, but if you can both put your email addresses into the chat box, that would be great. And then we'll give you just a minute to do that. And then we will contact you about how to get those boxes to you. So thank you. And I'll hand it back to Courtney for questions.
Awesome. Amy just put a great comment in. She says, honestly, one thing that helps us with snacking is not buying some of the not so healthy snacks. My kids snack less if we don't have those. That is 100% correct. Like when I buy fruit snacks, I find fruit snack wrappers all over my house. They're so obnoxious. But if I don't have them, they don't have that. You know what I mean? So I agree with that 100%. Great. And both the email addresses are in there.
That's a great comment. We don't ever buy Uncrustables. And I did on a whim because a kid requested them as a treat. And I found 2 wrappers in my bathroom, in my own personal bathroom. So one of the children took them in there, and same thing, find them all over the house.
Well, it was Wes. He did it.
It might have been, but he was just eating in the kitchen.
Okay, so Josephine said for workouts, she likes the Fit On app. And exercises are short. I need to do that. I really need to get on that. That needs to be my new thing. And granola bars, Amy says, yes, granola bars. Agreed 100%. Does anybody else have any other questions or trouble areas that you want to help brainstorming or things that I missed? I think I did I think I got all the comments, but if I didn't, shout it out. Well, this has been fantastic. I appreciate all of the comments in the chats. A lot. Can you share some of your best tips for utilizing my phone? Yeah. So I have a habits app. Sure. Let's see. I'll show you. It looks like this. It's this little pink app right here, and it says habits. That's probably the app that I use a lot, and that has my rule of 6 in it. Like, it has the things that I want to make sure that I'm doing personally for me, and it has like little reminders that'll show up during the day. So like one of mine is like drink water, or read a nonfiction book, read a fiction book. And actually, I do have a step goal. I have like a step goal, like a 6,000 step goal kind of thing. So it reminds me, and it's just kind of this nice little, oh yeah, I should do that. Every time it says drink water, I'll take a drink of water. So it just helps me do those things. But the reminders app on the phone, I actually just went to a girls' retreat, and that was one of the things that one of the gals was teaching us, is like how to use our reminders app better. And it's fantastic when you set it up, you guys. You can even just say like, hey, you can just talk to your watch or talk to your phone, and it'll just be like, hey, add such and such reminder for tomorrow, or every single time you get home. Like, you can have a reminder set up that every single time you pull into your garage, it will remind you to do something, or at 6 o'clock at night, it reminds you to do this, or it's kind of amazing. And I am not utilizing it to its full potential, but it's definitely been huge in what I've been doing just the last couple weeks. Any tips on keeping myself off my phone? So I have nothing on my phone except for like my emails and my work stuff. Like, I don't have any games. I don't have anything. And I actually have a screensaver. It's not on there right this second. I should see if it's there. It says read instead. And so it's just a bunch of books, and it says read instead. So every time I picked up my phone, it would remind me to go read a book instead of do something on my phone. But that's mine. That's the only thing I can do, is I keep no social media. I keep no games, nothing on my phone.
Courtney, I don't know a lot about it, but my oldest daughter, who's 22, she talks about this. I'm probably not going to do justice, but there's like a brick where you have to go and physically touch your phone to it to unlock it. So like it sets mandatory times. So she's actually going to get it for herself when she goes back to school. So once she leaves the house, she is not going to be able to like sit there and scroll and do anything social. Like, you can set it for specific things like social media. So she gets back home and physically touches it back to the brick.
Interesting.
And there's other ones. There's other ones too where it has like a feature where it can see, and you have to do like 20 push-ups, and it will wash you before you can unlock 15 minutes of social media time on your phone. So again, I don't have the names for all of it, but I know the one is called Brick because she shared that with me.
Oh, that's super interesting. I've never heard of that one before. Okay, hold on. I'm going back through here. Kiddos who struggle to work independently. Okay, so for my kids, what we do, you have to find what works for them as far as like what's their carrot. I think I heard Sarah Roberts say that the other day. She's like, I don't mind dangling the carrot, or somebody said it. I can't remember who said it. But finding the carrot. So mine is, we have a checklist that goes through their week, and I don't assign things like that you have to do like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just say on there they have to do language arts 4 times a week. They have to do math 4 times a week. They have to do handwriting 3 times a week, or whatever it is that you want them to do. And they get to cross it off as they do it. But what happens is Friday is co-op day at our house. And so co-op day is Friend Friday. So after co-op, they can go off and do their play dates, and they can go do their things. But we don't get Friend Friday if all of our checklists are not done. And so Thursday, we kind of look at it and take an inventory. Hey, did we do everything? They might cram a bunch into Thursday because they hadn't done anything. Or like, I've only had to take Friend Friday away once, and it's never happened again, because that's something that they want. It motivates them to be able to get their things done. So finding something that motivates your student is what I found works the best for my kiddos. But I would love to hear other ideas from other people. Everybody's kid's different. So some kids just don't care, right?
I put a link in there, Courtney, to these visual timers. Like, I would say 13 and under, or probably maybe 12 and under. Sometimes you say, I just need 45 minutes of math. They know how long 45 minutes is. The one I linked, they're smaller increments of time, but it's helpful for my little kids, like my 10-year-old daughter, for me to say 30 minutes of ELA. Well, what does that really mean? It's helpful for her to be able to see the hourglass and the time ticking down, and then she can stay on track.
Oh, I love it. That's great. Especially because it helps you be accountable. I'm the queen of like, go play outside for 30 minutes, but then like an hour and a half later, I was like, oh crap, you guys should probably come back inside because I got busy doing everything. That's a great one. I'm gonna Google your reminders app for an Android because I don't know. Is there any? So let me look.
And Courtney, while you're looking up at that, I just want to remind everybody that we do have a whole week, or not week, 3 days packed of talks the rest of the week. So we invite you to come and join us. And if you have more questions too, we're kind of running out of time here, but if you have more questions, we have a mom's panel at the end of the day on Wednesday. That's going to be really good. We have some really great moms who will be sitting on that panel, and the questions will be open to anything that you could think of. So we encourage you to come to that mom's panel as well.
All right, the Google the Android equivalent of the iOS reminders app is a Google Assistant. So you can set reminders for Google Calendars and tasks. You can just say, hey, Google, remind me to call John at 3 p.m. and it should set a reminder on your phone. So you can try it. All right, this was fantastic, you guys. And yes, Amy, no social media on my phone. You can still get to social media. Like I can go into, Chrome and do it, but without having that little, Facebook icon staring at me at the face, it just makes it one more step and it makes me just be more accountable. So you find what works for you. All right, everybody, this was fantastic. I don't have anything else if no one else has any other questions. I've really enjoyed this though. Thanks for coming.